Diaguit agus conasatá for agus Manó. Brendano Duvgall is Anam Dom. Hello everybody, my name is Brendan Doyle. Welcome to the Boro Inn Irish pub. It is a family journey of proprietorship dating back to the 1800s, and I took a leaf of my family life and brought it here to the Appalachian community. We serve over 177 different handcraft beverages going back to the 900s to the present day, with the microcraft industries that are growing and exploding so rapidly. Going back to the 900s, a lot of European communities beverage back in Belgium, Scotland, England, Ireland. I have taken many of those continental and even as far as Australia to serve the dynamic universal culture of who we are as a pub within the community here in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I opened the pub 5 years ago to serve the community at large. When I look back over a period of time in the 90s when I was appointed and stationed here as a priest, I fell in love with the area, and I decided when I retired that I would go ahead and open a premises to serve the culture of Scotch, Welsh and Irish cultures here in the Appalachian area. The pub has become the heart of the town in a cornerstone way. It has grown in ebbs and flows in many beautiful ways. We cover everything, as many would say, from conception to natural death and all the grey matter that falls in between. Community life is a very, very important thing, and having a social centre where people can come and feel at ease and enjoy the comforts of a beautiful Irish cultural heritage, both from a beverage and a food cuisine standpoint. I also like to serve in many humanitarian ways to the outer sides of the community through outreach programs, serving law enforcement and indigent families and orphan children through the community's blessings of what graces fall through our doors here on a weekly basis. When I put the edifice of the pub together, I decided to put a cultural theme of 1300 years of Celtic history dating back to the 700s, and took a chapter of each century down through the passage of time and allowed the educational interest of that to flow so people could get a feel for what it was that their forefathers and mothers came from over the passage via ship way back in the 16, 17 and 1800s. And in that, it gives a tremendous appreciation for those who may never get back to their home soil where their ancestry came from. And it is blended very well within the cultural aspects of the community here in the Appalachian area. I also put a family journey of life, been merchant families going back to the 1700s, and I took a passage of certain family chapters over the course of that time and integrated that in both from a family journey, and that has brought a tremendous pulse and a heart of who and what I represent and who my family were as servants to the communities that they have served down through the centuries. Céad Míle Fáilte, here at the entrance door. Just inside of it we have a little family story of my grandparents and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and parents down through the passage of time, and it kind of gives you a great idea for who we are and the story that we have shared within the servitude of community. And it really is a beautiful thing, even though I've been 3,800 miles away from home. It is not too bad to be able to look on the wall and say a simple reflection of kindness to those who have helped you along the passage of time. This is what this area represents. This little photo in the background is actually the family home pub in Clonroach in County Wexford, the southeast coast of Ireland. It goes back to 1877, and in the picture itself was actually photographed in 1922, I believe. And it also has my grandmother, Angela Doyle, my great-grandaunt, and my great-grandfather standing in front of the premises. You can also see the old Model A Ford standing outside the pub, and a couple of high nellies that ladies used to ride with a lower crossbar. And you also see a depiction of the upper crossbars that a lot of gentlemen cycled in from the rural area of the countryside from farming communities to have a libation before they headed back home. This little area back here represents some unique Irish history going back to 1916, with Michael Collins being the first Chief and General of the Irish Army in Garda Síochána. My father was also a police officer back in the 60s and served 36 years of his professional career in law enforcement in Ireland. There is also between the two of them an attribute of many, many badges from all over the world, from different law enforcement departments, that men have come in to have a social libation and were kind enough to bequeath the pub here with one of their emblems and badges from different parts of the world. The fire is always the heart of the home. Here in the pub in the centre of the premises, we do have this beautiful little area for socialising as well. Up above me is a photograph of Castle Boro in County Wexford. That is how the Boro Inn came to have its name through our family. And in that area, the Boro River flows from the Blackstairs Mountains through Castle Boro Estate into the Slaney River, which flows into the Irish Sea. This house and beautiful castle was burnt down in the civil strife of 1921 when Ireland was fighting for its independence. There underneath we have a small little heat stove that was actually an 1898 piece that came out of the North Precinct in a place in Chicago that heated a 4-story building for servitude within the community to the fire department. During the course of Irish culture here in the Appalachia area, the forefathers came out with poitín, which was a potato illegal beverage distilled here in the Appalachian area. And that came to corn liquor or holy water or mountain shine or white lightning, as many people term it today. And in the heart of the town, back when this town was a dry city many years ago, there was a small little lawnmower shed here that used to bestow the graces of those medicinal purposes to the community over many, many years. This here in the corner is an old confessional. As you notice, the 3 arches representing both for the presider, being the priest who would bestow absolution, and also for the penitents on the left and right hand side. This piece is an 1835, which came out of an old church in Baltimore. I was fortunate enough to be able to secure it before it went into demolition under a rack and ball. And we cover everything from, as I said, conception to death and all the grey matter. So not alone do we offer a spiritual libation, we also offer medicinal purposes and absolution if it is absolutely necessary amongst the patrons that may need a certain moment in time through the passage of life. You can still see on the doorknob it's still been used. It is not so tarted with non-use. It is always an ongoing thing, and we continue to serve the humanities of life through their pilgrim steps and chapters as they need it. This little section in the pub here shows an old stomper and an old still kettle made out of copper. It has a variety of different moonshine jars, and this is how they made this delicate product for medicinal purposes back in the ages of time. The stomper and the distiller here, the condenser, is what gave the first cut, second cut and third cuts in liquid form, and if you knew which cut to take, you were in good shape for the day. If not, you'd probably be laying up for another day in the bed.
Oh, that'd be fun.